Hello and welcome to Slice of Heaven episode 5. Thank you so much for sticking with us and returning. Today I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Heartwood, and a very special guest. It's Flair!
Is
Flair
me.
VR, Flair VRC.
Yeah.
From the Twitch.
That's
and
me.
the Twitter. And the things.
Yep, I do sure have a Twitter, that's for sure.
One platform is wholesome,
Oh my gosh.
the other is not so much.
We call
It
that
is what it
whatever
is.
says
Love you, Flair.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So where do we begin? Do you know what I want to ask,
I love you,
actually?
Flair.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh, I'm having it later,
Yeah.
actually. So, it's something that I didn't really specifically have a name yet, because people just call it like stuffed
Yeah.
tomato. But we call it tomato, because you put minced meat in there. You put pieces of
Ooh.
cheddar and Emmental in the minced meat. Then whatever spices you want. Then some grated cheese on top of that. And then you bake that fucker until it's like golden brown on like top. And then you mix that with, you eat it with pasta that you prepare and
Yeah,
tomato sauce
yeah.
and stuff with like veggies. It's really fucking good. It's like the best part of like minced meat is like that mix with like the crusty cheese. For example, like if you eat like, I don't know, it's like spaghetti or you warm it up or whatever with some cheese on top. It's so good. Like as you open it up, it like pours out. Like the cheese and stuff, like the molten cheese pours out. It just melts in your mouth.
That
It's so
sounds so
fucking
good.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Hell yeah. That and ice
I
cream. I
love
love ice cream.
pasta so much. I'm a slut for
Now I'm
pasta.
hungry.
Yeah,
Same.
that's the goal, make Heartwood hungry at the start of every podcast.
That's why I put this glazed cake here, you know? I mean, it is a slice
Trust
of heaven
me,
after
is
all,
that
right? I thought we
lemon?
were talking about your butt
I
for a
have-
second.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been eyeing that cake since you brought it over. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
That looks really. Yeah. There's a
Heartwood
lot of cake on that
pickup
couch
lines.
over there. What?
I've been eyeing
Glazed
that cake since you came in.
I've been eyeing that cake since you brought it over.
But, you know, it is what it is. Did you guys see
I
my
mean,
latest
unless
piece,
you're
by the way?
Flair.
On, you know? Hey, I know what
Your
I like.
latest piece? Which one? There's a mountain.
There is
the
a mountain
latest
of
one,
pieces.
like the one on the peak, you know?
I saw one with two other people, and that was quite nice. It was,
Exactly.
as we say, quality.
We love some
I like
quality.
looking in your eyes. I don't look anywhere else as the wholesome Christian bunny I am. I just look into your eyes.
Is this true? Is this like confirmed?
This one is
No,
like
that's not
insanely like unwholesome.
Oh,
like,
gotcha. Okay.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I mean, to be fair, they do
It's a
have a
soft
bunny
bunny
avatar after all. Like, I mean, they're kind of known
Exactly.
for it. You know?
Mhm.
Anyway, love you, bro.
Oh, there's so
Look.
much I could say about you right now.
What do you mean? I'm an wholesome angel. Always have been. Always will be. Shush,
I'm,
shush,
I'm
shush.
gonna take the higher
Um,
road. I'm gonna take the higher road. You know, because you're
Yay!
paying
Take
me.
the high road.
But
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Flair.
You work for me.
Hello, my name's
How are
Fire.
you so confident?
Yeah,
How
are you
how
so
do you do
confident?
that?
Where did this come from?
It's
Yeah, teach us
really
confidence, please.
strange and almost ironic that I am
Mhm.
sort of in the situation that I am today with myself, right? Like
Mhm.
with how I act, what I say, what I do. Because I'm also always trying to be so like self-critical, and that's never changed. Where like I look at what I like, I want justice for myself, but also the people around me. Kind of, you know, I want to treat them how they treat me, and just be
Yeah,
generally
absolutely.
nice. Unfortunately, that attitude back when I went from like the school I was in, that was primarily aimed to help autistic people, which they claimed I was, but they never gave me proof for it. I came from there to the school that I live right across the street from right now. Like we moved here like last year. And back then I did everything in my power to try and satisfy everyone. And I changed my
Yeah.
attitude a million times. I even like almost changed personality. Trying to somehow fit in, trying to satisfy everyone. But like the hard truth is that you can't. You will never be able to
Yeah.
pick up an attitude or behavior that everyone will be okay with. Everyone, there's always going to be someone out there that will hate you just for the sake of having the liberty to hate you. Like
Yeah.
even Mr. Jesus Christ himself had like half the population that hated him, and he's the primary example of how to behave in most of the like older generations that are trying to basically say like, oh, he's pretty nice, but he ain't no Jesus Christ kind of thing. That example got thrown at me quite a lot. But the TLDR is, I sort of learned that the hard way, that there is not really a single way to satisfy everyone. So I started focusing more and more, and it's always experimenting and finding things out, but eventually I was just like, as long as I know that I'm not purposely causing issues or purposely trying to be annoying and treat other people how they treat me, so if they're annoying, I don't give a shit what happens to them, because it's everyone's personal responsibility to make themselves be understood. You can't go around saying like blah, 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 and then just expect someone to like understand you or whatever, and then start to guilt trip them or blame them that it's their fault. No. You have to speak the same language as everyone else in order to be able to communicate with people, and that communication is important. And I learned that if people almost purposely try to play around with the idea that like it's somehow never their fault, I drop those people out of my life. My life is way too short to be focusing on people that aren't doing as much effort into trying to make the communication work with other people. So I end up focusing on the people that do matter to me and that just do matter in general. They are the people that focus on trying to make themselves understood to other people, but also focus on trying to be as just to other people as possible. And that's honestly where most of my philosophy comes from. My attitude is just treating people the way that I think that they deserve. However, I'm a very flawed person. I have things that I give way more attention to than others. I sometimes even get mad on stream for people that are clearly just there to troll me. But I'm myself, and I am not going to apologize for that. And I don't think anyone ever should, except if they are purposely trying to ruin other people's time or, like their experiences on the platform or on Twitch or wherever, Kind of like Karens. No one likes Karens.
Poor people named Karen. But you're right.
The attitude,
To our Karen listeners.
Yeah, I know. I always just think it's funny. Absolutely.
So you used to be a lot more anxious than you are now?
Oh, extremely so. Like I didn't walk up to a single person pretty much ever until like that alone bored me. Like it was just boring.
Yeah.
Like after 20 something years, I don't remember exactly when it started, but after 20 something years of just like being sheltered and just not really doing anything like with my life, I decided like, okay, well, I'm fucking bored. I want to do something. Yeah. So I walked up to people in like I think it started with Gary's Mod RP servers just to strike a conversation, even though those type of people that are usually there are just like screeching children, kind of like in public lobbies in VR chat, unfortunately. But like it builds up confidence, because it's like if you don't have the like expectation to win a situation where like people like you or whatever, like because you approach people to try and get their approval, right? Or like you want something out of it, like a normal conversation at the bare minimum. But if you're not afraid to be rejected, then there's nothing to lose, because it's like, okay, well then this is just another group that doesn't want me around, so why should I bother? That's why I exposed myself to like the first year on VR chat, is just walking up to people, striking conversations, making a lot of friends, etc. And now I'm here, and a lot of people hear me bitch about shit on Twitch, and it's great.
Yeah. I mean, from my experience, and I don't know if Heartwood will agree, it's kind of like I'm still a ball of anxiety, but I've gotten much better. And a lot of that has just come with age. Like the more kind of serious and rough stuff I've been through, the more that it puts into context, like these issues with people and confidence and approaching people. That's much smaller fish in the sea of just adult life and the stuff we have to deal with. So I think a lot of it comes with age, but also the love and acceptance of people around you when you are yourself unashamedly, and when you do show confidence and others like appreciate that or are inspired by that. So it's still a path, but yeah, it's just important.
It's like a
to
fine
look
wine,
at how far you come to.
So wine is usually meant to be drunk young, but specific wine, when cared for, and loved will age just so splendidly, and then it becomes such so much, just becomes so good. So yes, I think with age and maturity, these things, you have the opportunity to mature with age, but the age does not equal maturity, of course. It takes social experiences, it takes hardships, it takes trials and tribulations to grow from experiences, and it's what you do with that knowledge, is what you do with those experiences that moving forward with different circumstances and situations. That's where you either kind of fall and keep falling and never get yourself out of that pit, or you grow and become a better person and learn from the mistakes of the past and learn from these hardships and heartaches.
I feel like
we get jumping
confidence
into risky situations too, jumping into the deep end, not knowing how it's going to go and being scared too, is how you do grow and how you do learn too.
To a degree, yeah, I think so, because you trial by fire, baptism by fire. These are terms we all know. We've all experienced these things in the real world. Sometimes you don't get a choice; you just get pushed into the deep end, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I think there's nothing wrong with wading in gently, and being comfortable. Like, for example, I do have generalized anxiety disorder. So I actually live on a perpetual state of anxiety and stress. I didn't realize this, but it makes perfect sense now that I've actually been properly diagnosed with it. But I know I'm a charming person and I can talk to folks, but I have a really hard time opening up and talking with people. And over time, even just getting in a VR chat, I was so nervous to even talk through a microphone. Like, I'm in a cute avatar, I'm behind a curtain, so to speak, but I still was scared to talk to people, and then 3 years later, look at me now, I'm like, you can't shut me up.
Now you refer to your water at the speed of sound.
I do talk fast. I'm like, I got my little bits, and I'm just like, get back to. But it wading in can take, like exposure therapy, if you will, like of talking to people and growing and learning new experiences. You can definitely mature and grow and gain confidence. Like, I don't like my voice. I don't think my content's great, but these are all just self-doubtful, nagging thoughts, self-criticisms that drag us back down. You have to kind of push past that from time to time and grow as a person and just accept who you are for who you are, and build that confidence, even if it feels a little shaky. That shaky confidence is just humility, and humility is a wonderful thing to have as well.
Oh, I 100% agree. People that use that ability to for what do you call it? Humility?
Humility.
Not humidity, but humility. Yeah.
It's very.
They become arrogant and egotistical, and they lose sense of their roots, where they came from, because no one inherently has any it's not like we don't have value to begin with, but we do end up getting pride for the things that we did work for, and I think that's important, and it's important to retain that pride in order to have a sense of self and to get somewhere. However, there's a lot of people that then lose touch with the perspective of what they actually have. A lot of successful people end up becoming very arrogant, and I don't want to be like that. I've had a couple of times where I've seen myself sort of slip up because I lost touch of that perspective. It's important to surround myself with friends that can also tell me no, because if they would just be exactly. Otherwise, I'd come exactly what I would hate, and at any point, it just takes one single person to really, really want to cancel you or really want to call you out for something, and you could be done for. Your social reputation on the platform is just then ruined. Which I've also experienced that firsthand on an allegation that wasn't even true. That was at the beginning of when I used Discord. It was awful.
So are friends how you sort of stay grounded then and stay in reality? Is hanging out with friends and having that downtime from...
I think you're having an uptime now.
I can't stay grounded like you, Fleur. You'll have to teach me.
Damn. All right. It's okay. I'll be here to pull you back to her. But like, I think friends are very important for that. Like I've had a small fallout with a friend earlier, not earlier today, but like recently, and it's good sometimes to have those. If you then talk about it like an adult, if you handle the situation as good as you possibly can, like sure that we were mad at each other for a little while, but it's then also important to be able to get over those emotions and see what's best. The best outcome for both of you, and in that case, it was just like this isn't really worth like this argument wasn't really worth the friendship loss or like even like the little pride I would have of being right, because usually that's what people will die for. You know, they'll die on that hill. They will refuse to accept any fault, and the truth is everyone's full of fault. Like everyone has flaws, and sometimes it's indirectly
Nobody's
caused by
perfect.
you, and you don't want to admit it. You know.
Yeah.
I think humility again is something that's really important, is to just accept that we aren't perfect, and that when we realize we're wrong, don't double down on it. Just kind of be like, you know what, screw it, I'm wrong, whatever, or try to make amends or just gloss things over. Now there's definitely circumstances where friendships are like, okay, I didn't realize you were that much of a shitty person. Maybe I should cut ties, but if it's a good friendship and the other person's a good person, you're a good person, working together, to kind of ease things out or just accept that you might be at fault, that's again a sign of maturity that we're talking about. And it's really important to show understanding and compassion with other people, because we are all individual animals just running around trying to live our lives, and it's frustrating when there is a heated argument and a loss of friendship is strained, whether it's I can't believe you stole my Monopoly piece, or,
I wanted to be the
I
card,
can't believe you
damn
beat
it.
me up in Smash Brothers. Yeah, I wanted to be the car. No, you're the thimble.
Heartwood,
It's just,
with the way you stream and with the way you talk to your audience, it's extremely welcoming, extremely warm, and very lighthearted, I would say, for the most part. And I feel like that... Oh, hold on. There's an ambulance that's gonna pass by my window. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean...
Oh.
They're coming to get you, Heartwood. You're too soft.
It's like it's in your room. Oh my god.
Holy shit. All right. Okay, so like I was...
I'm sorry, I had to take somebody to heaven real quick.
Oh, okay.
That's dark.
No, they just gave them the slice of heaven, directly
time.
deposited on their... Oh,
Oh, they sliced
saw
into
that.
heaven.
damn,
you did.
all right. Anyway, so what I was trying to say is like, by you guys and by the people that obviously like me, they often like praise what I do, or the confidence, or the positive influence I do have. But I feel like my attitude is very like on the nose. It's extremely on the nose. I'm an open book with two translators that know every fucking conceivable language next to it. So what I'm trying to say is I'm very direct. If something bothers me, I will call it out. If something if there's something fun, I might exaggerate it too. But the point is, like, there's a lot of people that love me, but there's also, because of that attitude, also a lot of people that like start to despise me because they don't deal with criticism very well. They don't deal with being declined very well. And it's mostly that fear of being declined that most people have to get over with. Because I can't be personal friends with like every other person. You should see
That's
my
a
DMs.
hard
It's fucking
life.
awful.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine. So it's funny because one of the things that I always like really admired about you is how you're frank, you're blunt, you're direct. You don't mince your words very often. Like I'm so soft and delicate and civil and diplomatic that like I have a hard time telling trolls and people who are acting up to
I think
kind
the
of
word you're looking for
fluff
is cute.
off.
I think you just need
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that or adorable.
Son of a bitch.
Or precious,
You
Yeah.
already said earlier you're in a cute avatar. I held my breath. But,
Those words, they were yours, not ours.
You have given me that.
And they look
But that wasn't on
splendid.
camera.
You joined.
Are you
Oh,
sure
why
about
you
that? I
letting
might
you
have
look
been.
Where was I? Or where were
We were just talking about how cute you were.
You were calling me cute. Son of a. No, I'm not cute. But what was I saying? I was saying something important. Okay. Well, I know. You're really adorable. You know what? Of all the cute people who are supposedly cute, look at Loopie. Just get a close up of Loopie. Just everyone look at Loopie real quick. Just
Like
look at
an
this guy.
office kind of close up of me, just like
Yeah, just I need a
Oh my
close
God.
up. Well, now I just lost track. No, so I was saying like how I'm very diplomatic and I'm civil and I don't want to upset anybody, and that makes me kind of try to like dance around circumstances that could be construed as parasocial or stressful or toxic, things that I'm just kind of like marshmallow brain, and I'm like, oh, they're just acting silly, they're just saying something rude, but I can circumnavigate this. But then when I watch your streams, you're just like, you jackass, get out of here. And I'm like, oh, you can do that? You have inspired me to be a little bit more direct with people and be more confrontational with folks.
Can I
and
say
control
something
my
to
quality of my chat. Absolutely.
I feel
100%.
like you're dancing on eggshells. You're trying to avoid the minefield of different things that you can say that could potentially harm someone. Which in the grander eye, in the wider scope of people out there that are extremely sensitive to extremely random stuff out there, like you could literally just be drinking a bottle of water, and someone could take offense in that somehow. Like, I just kind of gave up because there's so many different people out there that could potentially be sensitive to random stuff that it feels like it would give me anxiety if I constantly kept it in mind. There's certain limits. Like, I still have limits of like things that are like just blatantly unnecessary. For example, the gamer word,
sure.
like that, like obviously avoid that.
That's instant. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
even,
like
not even gonna.
or
mess
talking
with
about
people who
like
do that stuff.
past history events with certain countries, stuff like that. It's better to obviously avoid those topics altogether, and then I'll dance around it. But that's sort of like the bare minimum, and I feel like it's a good idea, even if you're unhinged.
That's like
as me.
extreme trolling. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the weirdos and the more ambiguous stuff, like people coming in your chat and harassing you about Cyberchim, who's awesome. We love him, but
Dude.
you got people who just will not leave you the hell alone over that.
Half of the
and I've
people that
seen
are
it
like
before.
new to my stream are from Chimp's community, and they've met me through their streams, and I have been able to successfully predict when someone's trying to rickroll me 80% of the time. And now the words are just banned in my chat. It's like if you say like cyber chimp, like every single way you can write it pretty much is banned on my channel, just to fuck with the people that only come there to ask me about him. Because in my eyes, if you specifically come from one channel, but you're interested enough to check someone else out, you're still technically advertising and talking about something that has nothing to do. Like, if it was topical, like if I did end up talking about it, completely fine. I don't mind. Like, I would love to just lift the ban on that word completely in every variation, even the fucking rickroll if I have to, if it's topical. But that's the problem. Like, people that randomly come in that just check the streams out, they're only there to try and do the same thing that they see, like basically like the TikTok attitude, where they just copy paste fucking funny dances or skits or whatever with their own cats and do the, I don't know, whatever, cat hustle, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do the cat hustle.
So yeah, like you kind of have to deal
um,
with that in your own way. Yes, hello.
Obviously, a lot of people look up to you. A lot of people filter in, some more than others. Hi. But with all these people that look up to you, and you've talked about being grounded and all of this, who do you look up to? Like, what inspires you, really? Like, as a creator, is it seeing other people be themselves? Is it see others like try new things?
It's funny because I started all of this out of necessity, but I grew
Yeah.
to love it. I grew to love the interaction that I can give. I grew to love the people actually listening to what I say for once. So anything that sort of goes against that, like the copy pasting of memes and blah blah blah, that can be
Yeah.
a bit frustrating for me. But when it comes to inspiration specifically, I had no real role models other than like when we're talking about like people that are more popular or better than me. It is more like
Yeah.
I have had people that have inspired me for different reasons. Have inspired me to be kinder. They've pushed me to be more welcoming, and looking at their streams and looking at what they do and how they set it up, it makes me motivated to work more on, for example, the model I've made, work more on community-related stuff. And one primary one was actually Heartwood, because they are so kind-hearted and sweet that like I actually
What are
unironically
you trying to
wanted to
get from
try
them?
to more. Nothing.
You keep like dishing them out compliments. Like, do you expect like a special VIP session later? Because that's reserved for me. You know, like Heartwood's all booked up later.
I'm just saying that like
I can pencil.
don't-
I can always pencil Pale Flare in.
what I'm trying to say is like
Kidding me?
I'm trying to say that I don't really have a specific role model. I don't
Yeah, I
really
get you, yeah.
function that way. I look more at people and value them for all their positive traits, sort of. Not just
Yeah,
their positive
yeah.
traits, obviously, everything, but like if I had to choose which people influenced me the most, Heartwood would definitely be up there. And that's not
Yeah.
just to
Aw.
like, you know, like try to butter you up. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know
Don't
you.
worry about it.
I mean, you can butter me all you want, but
Gotcha. Yeah.
Where's that finger going, Claire?
I was just adjusting my headset. Don't
Butter
worry
you
about
up.
it. No, I was doing jack you off, but I just said butter you.
Oh,
Cut
the
that
other
out.
one,
Don't worry about
okay.
it. Cut that out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No,
No, stop.
God damn it.
There's a couple of other people that I would have to really think about, but it's more like it just happens. Like, oh, I see them. I appreciate that about them. That's wonderful. Like, for example, like Chimp or Wing, that both do an insane amount of avatar work and stuff, and that makes me motivated to start working on
Yeah.
stuff too. But even people that don't stream, like Silvermonk, that was working on stuff for Povey, that was also working on like an Anachi edit, they are also like, wow, okay, that's really fucking cool. I want to do that now
Yeah.
too.
I
about
think
it,
it's just important to look past, for everyone really, just look past like the fact that people are streamers, all the numbers and popularity,
100%,
and
yeah.
you know, just see
Please,
people as
yes.
people.
I
And-
get so
absolutely.
on that note, I feel like it's extremely important to still treat like anyone, like whether they're streamers, whether they're like fucking managers, whether they don't have anything, whether they're the fucking president, whether they're like YouTube or TikTok creators, or whether they're your mom or dad, as just people. Because it's sometimes
Yeah.
hard, even for me. Like if I were to, I think the person I would be most fan of or like most giddy about, kind of like how you met me. That was pretty funny and cute.
Yeah.
That was
But that
very
would be Porter
cute. Oh my
Robinson,
God.
because I just love his music.
Oh
I'd be-
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
love
did
their
wear him
stuff
on my
too,
crotch
yeah.
the first year that I streamed. I don't know if you remember that, but it was
Of
like a
course
little
you did.
symbol.
I
Yeah.
do. I do
Yeah.
remember that.
I wonder how we would feel about that.
Oh, I don't know, but I remember asking about that when I was getting a commission piece of artwork of the original Shooting Stars team members when I first joined. I was like, I was like, what is this? And you're like, oh, that's Porter Robinson. I'm like, you have Porter Robinson symbol on your.
Yep. Was
crotch,
there for
yeah.
an entire year.
I was like, all right, that was amazing.
Are we all still shooting stars? Are we still in the team? I forget. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
I just
I
want to say
haven't
like how much I
touched
love
it.
that concept.
I
It's
love that
such, like
too.
a wholesome and inspiring concept of just like twinkling stars in the sky that just inspire and share inspiration. And yeah,
The origin
Very
of it is
wholesome.
extremely fucking wholesome. I've told a
I
story.
love wholesome stuff.
Yeah, like I've told a story many times on stream, but it's never been set
Yeah.
in a video. But the TLDR of it was there is in my homeworld, There's a lake.
Mhm.
I think it's like a starry lake. It has like some
Yeah.
plateau in the middle where you can stand. Some like other offshoots, like a campfire. It's super
I think I
cozy.
remember that. I don't know if I've been there once. I'm sure for like one
Mhm.
of your meetups, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I could show you later on. But there's
One of the-
also stars
It's
in
one
the
of
background.
your celebrations.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I think also like during a new year and whatever. I just go back there quite often. But the TLDR of it
Mhm.
is, I was just streaming. Like I had been going for like quite a while. It was like over a month, like
Mhm.
straight of like going for it because I didn't really have anything else. Which like I
Yeah.
literally mean I had
Mhm.
nothing. Like I had 0 in my bank account because I just paid rent. So I didn't really know what to do with
Mhm.
myself, and for like the longest time, it was really difficult to sort of get anywhere. Like you start off with like 2 to 7 like watchers, and then maybe it goes up to
Yeah.
14 by an end of the month, but then suddenly shut up to
Mhm.
30, and then like 40, and then I think at the peak it was like 60, and then I think also Chimp rated into me. But that night, like every single dollar that was given to me was 1/400th of my rent, and that's all that mattered because I had to like scrape together, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that night I got like somewhere in the ballpark of like 650 to 700 or something. They just showered me
Oh my
and
gosh.
absolutely broke
Yeah.
me, and I was
Wow.
crying so hard that night. It like
I
had, like, a
love
cute
those
little
moments
speech at-
where you
it's
just get so emotional on stream.
I still do because I want to
Mhm.
be grounded, right? Like I don't want to pretend like, oh, someone subbing for like, you know, $5 isn't like something special, because it is. Like it's someone
That is
Yeah.
very
giving up
special,
their
yeah.
income for you. That
Mhm.
night I had like a speech at the end of the night where I basically went from being completely worthless. Like I knew that people thought I might still have work, but I didn't believe that. To finally being able to see that I found a home, somewhere that I belonged, because I felt really at
Yeah.
home on stream. I felt really at home with the people that surrounded me, and everyone was there to support it. And I told them that they make my wishes come true, because I'd been going for about
Aw.
15 years for YouTube content before that, and it never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
While there were like the shooting stars in the background and of the camera, I told them like, you guys are
Mhm.
my wishing stars because you make my shooting stars because you make my wishes come true. And like I
Aw.
was crying, everyone else was crying. It was very fucking cheesy and very wholesome. And ever since
Cheesy
then,
and
I took
wholesome,
that
yes.
concept sort of to heart, and it's
Yes.
like that will never not have any meaning to me. Even to the point I want to have a tattoo on my shoulder. That's like a
Aw,
shooting
that'd be
star,
so cool.
Yeah.
because it
That's
saved my
beautiful. I
life.
love that
Honestly,
idea.
yeah, that's where I came
It's
from.
just yeah.
It's nice that you had like this profound moment when you kind of just had this epiphany that this is working and this is your home and this is a community. Like it's so humbling. I was kind of in not in the same boat 100%, but like I was losing everything at the point where I started streaming, and it just like it was so humbling and flattering and amazing to have so many people slowly, you know, I was a very slow organic build, but having people just care for you and want to see you and talk to you and cheer you up and lift your spirits and be there with you, and then on top of that support you, was truly awe-inspiring and humbling. So I can, you know, I don't know when it happened for me, but like knowing that your story and how it happened for you is just like I love it. It's so good.
It was sort of like the realization that I finally found a home where I felt like I belonged. And like that point of realization, I feel as long as the streamer is like humble enough that it happens to any streamer that goes for like quite a while, or at least is somewhat successful, that at some point like you stop and think about like, wow, these people are actually giving up their time for us, and it's something that is really special. It's not, I guess that's the wrong terminology. It's not giving up time, it's sharing the time with you. And it's
Yeah.
that like
they're giving.
knowledge, the fact that that they're willing to spend it with you, it makes you feel at home. It's warm and fuzzy.
I love that. Absolutely. I call it like, they're giving, they are giving you their presence. They are being there, and presence is the same word as present. So I always say you're giving me a present, but with your presence, being tuning in and spending time with me and just, I mean, even if it's just a lurk, right? Even if it's just a lurk, somebody literally took the time to click on your profile and listen in or tune in or just watch. And that is like so insanely humbling to me, because we all have very busy lives. We have school, we have work, we have our families, our friends, our relationships. We have so much going on in our lives, especially in this modern day and age where it's just like go, 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 busy, 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 blah, blah. And then to have people who genuinely care enough to even just pop in and hang out with you, to type a few messages, to encourage you, to give you some love. And those folks who go way above and beyond too, it's just like, I think that's what keeps me going, because it's almost unfathomably insane to me that people are willing to be, in a community and care for a stranger like me. And I like I said, that's why when I met you. Now, see, I'm not particularly fond of like fangirling over other streamers. I respect people and their craft and their content, but I don't idolize people. But when I met you and I watched your streams and I saw the community, and I was like, okay, this person named Flair here has a really good heart, and they have the same kind of humility that I admire. And I think that's why I was so timid about approaching you. I'm like, oh my god, I want to be part of this.
Wait, was it also the same day as with you?
Was it the same day?
Was it at like Bart's
No.
or whatever?
Oh, yes. I met you. Yes, I did. I met you the same day you met Loopie. It was at Bardick's 3K party.
That was so long ago.
That's when I was like, but it was funny because like I didn't really know you at that time, so I was just like, oh, here's another cool streamer person, like whatever. But you had such a wonderful air of personality. You were super fun and flirty, and you had a great energy, and I was like, okay, I really like this person. They're cool. But I was just like, okay, but I was very much ready to just write you off as just another streamer. But I was curious because you interacted with my friends and whatnot, and I was like, okay. So then I started watching your streams, and I'm like, oh, I really like Flair. Oh my god! And it wasn't because of your content. It wasn't because of, how you present yourself. It was just your I guess like I said, your soul, your energy, like who you truly are. That was what kind of caught me and dragged me in, because I could see a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same for me to you. It's just like the very welcoming, warm, and like soft. Like I feel like I can make a million mistakes around you, and you'd be like, "That's fine, sweetheart. Don't worry about it." I feel like that's also very important for the like how comfortable people feel around anyone. Is if you can make mistakes, then you don't have to be as anxious. Because it's like you can, I don't know, you can do a party trick or whatever, and you can do it 10 times over, and if it works, it works. It's like, hey, let's go. But usually it never works the first time if you want to show people. So it's important to be able to make mistakes around people,
Absolutely. Failing is just learning and growing, We demonize it so much, but it's actually extremely important for our development and to succeed. You can't just yes, there are people who just sometimes just hit a home run right out of the bat, right on the first pitch, but most people, they need to learn how to swing the bat, more often.
Exactly.
They need to build up those muscles. They need to put time and effort, and you're going to fail. Yeah, endurance, exactly. I don't know anything.
I know a couple of people which I don't know how much they trained, obviously, but they are extremely talented, and they're able to sway a lot of people to like them or approach them or like be interested in them because of their talents, but then they don't really know what to do with it. So I think it's important that they like learn how to deal with that pressure and deal with the success that comes from their talent. Because I have been told that I am also extremely talented back when I did draw on the daily about me drawing. But the thing is, I didn't get there just willy-nilly. Like, wasn't really born with that talent. It's more of a skill that you develop. And this is with everything. This is with socializing with other people too. It's you sort of feel, and you'll be able to read the room a lot better if you actually are able to fail and take that criticism and grow from that.
Absolutely. It's you don't just pop out and you're like, I'm a fantastic artist. Yes, they're savants. There are people who do have that, but it's far and few between. And it's fun because like a lot of artists I know, they'll actually get kind of mad at you if you say, oh, you're so talented. They say, no. I put in time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears, and that is skill, my friend. That is
That's
skill,
a very
not talent.
big
like,
distinction, yeah.
Valid. It is a big
100%.
distinction. It is about failing. It is about growing. It is about putting in that time, that effort, and becoming a better craftsperson. You know, whether it is streaming, whether it's like socializing, whether it's like work and home life, whether it's relationships. You know, you have to fail to learn. It's just like a video game. You have to get XP. You got to grind.
There's a letter I saw from, I think, one of the directors of Toy Story, or an animator of Toy Story, and I guess like a preschool had reached out to him, and they were just like, what advice do you have to the kids, you know, for the aspiring artists and stuff? And he was like, look, I've been doing this for like 25 to 30 years. When I was in school in Cal Arts, everyone was better than me. You know, they were creating masterpieces out of animation in that school, in that class. And I was sucking at it. But he said, I kept going. And then over time, they dropped out of school. They lost their passion, or they just hit their peak, and they didn't think they needed to keep improving at all. And he said, I just kept going. I kept doing it, hitting that grind all the time. And he said, it's just the craziest thing, is that like over time, I was the only one left really who just had the dedication to keep going and keep improving the craft. And he said, like, that's really been the key for him, is just the dedication. If you have the dedication to keep at it and the will to improve, then you will get there. It just takes time, really, because you can be like that naturally talented person and hit that peak very early on. But where do you go from there? If you're already feeling that you're perfect or something, what's left to you, really?
You
So
start
You'll
stagnating.
stagnate, lose interest.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to piggyback off what Loopie just said, though. Like, I definitely feel that 100%. There is, like, slow and steady wins the race in a lot of cases, and commitment and time and consistency win the race. Like, okay, I can literally open up Twitch and Kick and YouTube and watch amazing, talented, funny, clever, sassy people make brilliant videos and brilliant streams and have such well thought out content and are so technically apt, and I'm just like, I'm always so like, oh my god, I'm not this person, I can't do this, I'm not, what the heck, I'm not a streamer.
But it's the
I'm not
perspective as well, because you don't see the flaws that they're going through, maybe in their workflow.
You really don't. You just see the polished. Exactly. You just see the polished end result, and I think that's something I get a lot. But it's like, you know, I'm always sitting there self-analyzing, going, I'm not good. I'm not this. I'm not this. I'm different. There's like, I can't do what this person does, and they're so successful, and I kind of want that, but it's just not who I am. And I've even been criticized by my peers when I first started, saying, Heartwood, you're nice and all, but your content's boring, and we don't like you, and I don't really like what you do. But, you know, that's just a personal opinion. I'm like, and I kind of took that to heart. I'm like, well, damn, all right. But you know what? It was the fact that I just kept doing what I'm doing, and I kept growing slowly, and I met new people and had wonderful conversations, and I just enjoyed the passion of what we are doing, and you know, that's the only way I've still been able to keep doing this, is because I just enjoy what I do. I'm consistent, I'm slow, I'm steady, and I keep doing it. And I hope to keep, and I think I will continue to do this for a very, very long time. I want to do what he did. I want that Cal Art artist. I want to keep focusing and keep going and just keep improving. And, you know, even if it's super slow, even if I'm like, nothing changes in the next 5 years, I still want to be here 5 years later. Like, this makes me happy, like truly happy. So
I mean, you also are learning to perfect what your, so I wouldn't say benefits, that's the wrong word, but what your, like, also not talents. Like, I feel like every person has sort of something that they're good at, right? But it isn't necessarily
Yeah.
like developed in that person yet. Like you're like you aren't your true final form, kind of. You know, like you learn how to
Yeah.
perfect your own type of content because you're not there to just blatantly copy other people's content because that wouldn't be you. It's like putting on a
It
mask
doesn't work. Yeah.
for the entire time, and I see a lot of streamers quite often do that. And sure, they're successful and they can sway the audience, but like I feel like I'd be like 50% more successful if I didn't just blatantly call people out and stir them away and be too blatant and like too on the nose for them. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to pretend like I'm someone that I'm not. And I think that's also important that
Absolutely.
you do that too. That you grow as you, not as someone else.
Yeah. That's, again, another reason why I just admired you is because you are unabashedly, unashamedly you. And since I'm in a boat where I don't feel like, I never felt like a content creator, I had no desire to stream, no desire to do any of the stuff we're doing now. But I still want to succeed. I still want to grow. I still want these wonderful things. But, seeing you succeed, just being yourself, just have, like, you have great content but you are just yourself, and that has always like drawn me to you and made me humbled to be around you, because I was like, okay, Flair literally is just Flair. Flair doesn't care, like, that they're frank or blunt. They're happy with their community. You're sweet, you're kind, you're fun, you're sassy, you're sexy, you're
I
talented,
feel like we're
skilled.
69ing each other
Sorry.
a little bit too much.
Just a little bit. Just there's a little bit. But I'm literally speaking from the heart. That is like, and I know I've told you this in the past. It meant so much to me to watch you and go, somebody can literally just be themselves and succeed if you just are patient and put in the time and love yourself and you're genuine.
You have two options, right? You're either you or you put on a show, and a lot of people end up doing the latter, and a lot of people can be successful with that. I'm never envious of anyone's success if I can clearly if I can clearly see that they aren't truly comfortable with what they are doing, and I don't want to like project anything on them. Maybe they are comfortable with being two-faced, but I personally despise that, and I wouldn't want that. Like if I were to meet someone that I look up to and they're a completely different person in VR or in real life or in Discord or whatever, then I would be disheartened. Like, granted, like I feel like everyone like cranks up the best of their personality to like 200% when they stream, or they should,
For sure.
when they're streaming. So I'm sort of a more laid back, sort of a like, I don't want to be the one that carries the conversation at all times everywhere outside of my stream, because that's literally what I do as a job. I try to engage with people. I try to,
It's not sustainable, I think, putting on a mask for that long. Enough of an exaggerated mask and having to come back and do it most days and put that mask on. And then if people have different expectations, it's like you can't be somebody completely different. So I think it's good to be true to yourself.
It's good to have downtime.
You stream as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either that or otherwise I
definitely
just
be a
disappear on the
performer.
face of the planet after every stream,
Yeah.
But like,
I like.
here's the thing as well, is that like, if somebody tunes into one of your streams and you're doing a subathon and it's at the peak, right? Like you've just been gifted 100 subs, things are going crazy, you are like crying from the amount of support, chat is blowing up, and they think, oh, this is easy. All you have to do is like turn on VR chat and you just instant success,
yeah.
Holy
so
shit.
there's no illusion that it's difficult, and that's not every
My
day,
fucking god,
No,
dude.
that
The
is
amount of
such a
people
thing.
that think like
Yeah.
that have asked me, hey, what do you do as a job? I'm like, you're literally looking at it because this is a question, on stream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're like, oh, you don't have like an actual job? And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean an actual job? Are you telling me that every single actor, every single artist out there, every single person that works in the entertainment industry is just doing this as like a gag, just like a prank or something? No. like I put myself in a position, sure, this was me that did it, where I have to entertain to live. But I'm 100% comfortable with that because I've always felt like I had more to say than I was able to. Like, for example, when I was learning how to behave, etc. So having people, like, insultedly ask me, like, what my actual job is, and them not being able to understand because they're living in the past century, pisses me off. It truly does.
Oh, yeah.
It shows such a lack of respect for what we do.
I think part of it is
It really
naivety
does.
to the amount of work behind the scenes.
Oh my
You guys have
goodness.
no fucking idea. If you were to see half of the DMs that I get each day, you would lose your fucking mind. After
The
a
amount of
week,
time we spend on setting up stream, troubleshooting technical problems, dealing with our ISPs, because I know you had trouble, I'm having trouble, like dealing with parasocial people, dealing with like people who want to collab, working on setting up new ideas, trying to figure out the right camera angles, the software, running all these programs in the background,
what music,
balancing our finances,
events, what to do outside
there's just
of
so
stream,
much to this.
editing.
Yeah, it looks so.
It's annoying.
Absolutely, and the editing alone. Oh my gosh, I had to literally hire a bunny from Wales to do this. And,
That's a good deal, though.
It was
Deal.
a really good deal.
No. Okay.
Okay,
Anyway.
yeah, but yeah, just the amount of work that goes into all of this is actually quite a lot. Like, I joke that I ran a business for 10 years, like an actual proper big business, a property management business for 10 years. I've never worked so hard in my life as I have when I started streaming full time. This is so much more difficult. It's more rewarding. It's more comfortable. I have less stress. But at the same token, I work way harder than I've ever worked in my life. And that being on and performing for hours on end, hyper focusing on chat, hyper focusing on the content, working on all the stuff after and before streams, working with Loopie to make wonderful videos, just dealing with every little aspect of it. It's a hard job. It really is.
It's that
It's a lot of work.
self-discipline about when to turn off.
It's
How to turn
also
off.
Yeah.
it's very easy for people to say that. So I always encourage them, if you want to try it, be my guest. But I can guarantee you,
100%.
it's taken me, I think, at least 30 times up and off where I was like, this time I'll finally start actually streaming consistently,
Yeah.
just at sporadic moments in between, right? And it was never consistent until I had no other choice. And then it was the best decision I made because I feel like my personality fits it, but it also consumes your entire life. You
It
will
really does,
just
yeah.
be a streamer,
Yeah.
and that's it. You can get a 9-to-5 job, and outside of that, you can be whatever the hell you want to be.
Yeah, it ends at 5 and you're done. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's it. You clocked out, but we never clock out.
Yeah.
Every second is
Never.
basically another time, second you're either wasting streaming or making content or events or whatever, or basically having the chance to see your career be flushed down the drain if you don't do anything.
Yeah. Stagnation is tantamount to just shooting yourself in the foot and losing everything. You have to keep going. You can't stop. You can slow down, you can take breaks, but it's if you're gone too long, people move on to greener pastures, and especially as a streamer. And it's a little scary sometimes. It's a little scary that you have to think about things like that. But as long as you stay consistent and keep going, things are fine. You'll keep your audience. You'll keep being relevant. But that's the problem. It's about staying in front of people and being relevant. You'll always have people who love you and will be there for you, though, no matter if you take a year off or not. But you lose momentum if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. I also was gonna say, but then I lost my train of thought. I think like a lot of people just look at what you do and what I do, and they go, "This is awesome." I'm in VR chat because Claire and I are VR chat streamers. As if you couldn't tell or you didn't know us for some weird reason, we're VR chat streamers. It's a little different than your Apex streamer or your CS:GO streamer or your Fortnite streamer. Why? Because our audience, our community, has the ability to spend time with us. They want to join us when we're streaming. They want to be in our lobbies, in our worlds with us while we're making our content. They want to interject themselves and be our friends and collect us like Pokemon cards.
Want to be a part of the
It
conversation.
never turns off. They want to be part of the conversation. They're our community. These are people who are important to us. Some more so than others. Some of it's less parasocial. But when the camera turns off, our friends, our community, they're still there. They're still requesting to join on us. They want to be with us 24/7. You are never off. Like, you are always on, even in your personal life. If you're like me and my social life is also in VR, I'm always like thinking about, like, people have this expectation or idea of who I am, and I am genuinely who I am, but it doesn't turn off. Like, you're hanging out and somebody's going to come up to you and start talking about streaming or talk about your content or talk about their stuff or ask you advice, or they want to get a reaction out of you that they can get through through
my
Twitch.
Lord.
And it's just like it never ends. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to have that mental capacity to handle that. And I don't. So I retreat a lot, but I try to maintain a good work-life balance.
That's why you have friends like us
much.
that don't just like treat you like Mr. Streamer,
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's very important. Like, honestly, if you want to
Absolutely.
TLDR, if you're a fan of literally anyone, like any streamer, content creator, the more like normal you act around them, the less you make it a big deal about who they are, what they do, the more comfortable they're going to be around you, because I can guarantee you, especially if it's a very, very well-known person, that they deal with the extreme giddiness and parasocialness of some of the extreme fans out there that like emphasize and exaggerate the importance of being around them. It's like, oh, is that the Flair? Is that like the fucking, I don't know, famous Loopie or whatever? Like they go crazy.
The
Like
one and only.
yeah, the more chill
I
you
go
are,
crazy
like the
when I
more
see
chill
Loopie
we'll
as
be
well.
too.
Well, absolutely. Treating people like people is way more important to us than, treating us like stepping stones, content creators, social networking.
Oh my
God,
God, don't get me started on that. That's
that
awful.
one. Yeah, like I was gonna say, we could literally go into a whole other topic of people, trying to gain access and use people.
Yeah,
but
literally stepping stooling.
It's just kind of it's the nature of the thing. And I think what I always tell people is when you get in, if you want to try streaming, by all means, it's a wonderful thing to do. It's great to spend time with friends and show off your gaming skills and have great times with your community and build little communities or strong communities and grow. And if you succeed, that's wonderful, but be prepared for a psychological gauntlet that is just beyond anything you thought it would be.
I don't
It's
really-
so much more challenging.
I don't really understand the appeal of watching streamers that just have zero interaction with their chat. Like they constantly talk like they're like talking to a giant herd of people more than individual people.
Yeah.
And like get
Yeah.
them get them to do stuff and never really properly respond to a single comment. And I understand, some of the extreme cases where like the pace of the chat is just immeasurable. It's just going at the speed of sound.
Yeah.
Sure, you're not going to be able to do it, but at least to have the decency to like properly respond to TTS messages or donos or something like that. And I don't even see them do that.
Absolutely.
Like, I understand if you play some competitive game that you have to focus a lot, but I would want to personally like balance that out with like more heart-to-heart conversations with those people.
Yeah.
Because if you're not gonna give them, then it just feels like you're just another, I don't know, figurehead more than you are a
Yeah.
person, and then you're gonna introduce that parasocial relationship more than like not doing that, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, what was the next topic?
Well, it's either RuneScape or Cock and Balls. Claire, which
All right, we'll go with RuneScape. We'll go with RuneScape.
Well, RuneScape
since this is your...
Okay, RuneScape is
we were going with
basically
cock and
cock and ball
balls.
torture, so I mean...
Well, listen,
And there's our TikTok clip.
Oh, shit, okay.
Heartwood, no, please don't make me do this.
When it comes to RuneScape, I've just been excessively unlucky throughout the entire playthrough of my Ironman account, unfortunately.
How long have you been playing it?
Why do you still do it?
I think
Two different
wait, what is it? So I think 6,000 to 7,000 hours on my maxed main account, and then
Yeah.
about 225 days and 9 hours last time I checked on my Ironman account. Days,
God, you're like
like
me
of
with
playtime.
14. Jesus.
And when it
'Cause, like,
comes to the
was
other
playing-
topic,
Sorry, yeah.
I personally, like, to put it as nicely and politely as I can, think that people exaggerate the, I wouldn't say importance of it, but the effect of being able to do adult stuff with other adults, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of people are like a lot more careful than is necessary. Although I do understand
Are we
that.
talking about RuneScape still?
No, we
Yeah,
are
I thought
talking
we were on
about
RuneScape.
like.
Oh,
No.
the CBT. Okay.
Okay.
I was like,
so-
wait, are we just segueing out of RuneScape into like something naughty?
So Blair,
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
you know, there's all this talk about wholesomeness and shooting stars, and you're the sweetest degenerate I know, really.
This
Thank
is
you.
right. You are the sweetest degenerate.
So if
I'm,
you'd like
like-
to talk,
I'm
how
literally
you kind of
just
deal with that?
well, like, okay. I know what I like.
Apart.
I'm an
Amen.
adult, right?
yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people they want to portray themselves as better because they don't engage with that side of being an adult publicly or online, or at least in the
Yeah.
face in front of a camera. And I feel like it's important to show people that yes, I'm just a guy. Yes, I just stream. I'm unapologetically myself, and yes, I am horny on main. And I will
Yeah.
die on that hill if it's the last thing I fucking do. I don't care if I get cancelled. I don't care if I get banned off of Twitter, that is. If it would be Twitch, that would be pretty devastating. But I think it's important to know a time and place when you're able to do stuff like that. Instead of pretending like it doesn't exist. Because the amount of people
Yes.
that I have encountered and had fallouts with because they criticized me for the stuff that I did off of my stream. They criticized me for the stuff that I have on Twitter, which, by the way, just on a side note, I don't make money off of that. As a matter of fact, I literally pay artists, you know, the people that already are struggling, especially since the AI shit, but then let's not get into that, to make
Yeah.
quality of my avatar. And why? Because I like it. I feel like a lot of people like seeing their OC just in really fun scenarios. If that's literally cuddling up with a bunny or whatever, then that's fine. If it's literally fucking their brains out, that's completely fine too. Like, I don't give a shit. And I honestly feel like a lot of people just are way too sensitive to it. And I understand. In public settings, there's stuff that you can do and you can't do.
It's always time and place. It's always time and
Exactly.
place. Like I'm in a very similar boat. Like I have an angel. I have a wholesome stream. My content is very much PG-13, and because of the nature of Twitch and whatnot. But I'm an adult. And I like adult things, and I am also in the same boat. I like having really, really fun and spicy art, and I like being,
no shame in it.
I like to enjoy the human experience.
And that's what I mean. There's so
think
many
when you-
people out there that
Yeah.
want to shame me for the stuff that I have on Twitter. Like, they come in my stream and they automatically assume that I'm just some degenerate that's just gonna be their little puppet and turn around when they ask them. Like, hey, Flair, there's something behind you. You dropped something. You know, the typical stuff. And to me, I don't give a fuck whether you have that expectation or not. But what I do care about is the shaming, the fact that they're trying to take
Yes.
my liberty away of being able to express what I like and what I don't. Because, for example, I have certain fetishes, and sometimes I talk about them on stream, but not excessively, because otherwise that would be the main focus, which I don't want it to be. I just don't want to pretend
Yes.
like it doesn't exist, and I don't want to censor myself more than is necessary.
I think like with a lot of times, a lot of content creators kind of get pegged into this. I'm wholesome or I'm lewd, and if you're in either of those camps, that's all you're allowed to be. That's all you are. And I think the problem is a lot of people also just literally like hone in, and it becomes a defense mechanism, and they just go, screw those lewd content creators, or screw those stupid wholesome people. They're too holier than thou. And it's like,
It's
why not both?
ridiculous,
Why not
dude.
be yourself? Be a normal human being. Enjoy yourself.
They literally,
Like,
they literally just take one single look at like an out of context clip or Twitter, and they think they know everything about me. And at that point, I don't really give a shit. Like, if you're not gonna give me the time of day to try and elaborate on what I said or what I mean, or like, or you care about some fucking drawn image of my OC getting railed somehow, then I'm gonna tell you this now. You have some issues. If this personally
Yes.
affects you somehow, that my choices, what I do in my free time, has nothing to do with you, then you have some problems. And I'm not sure if I can
Yeah.
help you with that.
I think let people be people, you know.
Exactly.
But it does create an issue where, you know, people just have this weird, unrealistic expectation of you to either not be human and enjoy, you know, adult activities, or on the other, like, because we're almost polar opposites in that sense. Like, we're both very wholesome, kind, wonderful, loving people. You have much more sex appeal than I do. I have much more, like, I come off as super wholesome. You come off as, you know, super sexy, and you know, we get both sides of the same coin of people just having, like, I've had people go, "Oh my God, Heartwood, that picture you post," and I'm super wholesome on Twitter, and I posted, you know, just a cutesy little pose, and people are like, Heartwood, I can't believe you would look like that. This is not the wholesome angel I know. I'm like,
what?
this is my
You're an adult?
this is my
You have
Twitter.
sex? Insane. What? Crazy.
It's not like I'm married or anything, and have
Bro.
It's so funny
For me,
to
that's
me.
endearing. Like, if I see someone that's like really wholesome, that has like a slightly like lewder tinted stuff, or like they have something like they have like art that you can buy or whatever as merch, and it's like slightly lewd or whatever. That's fun. Like, I love that. That
I
means
love
that like you.
suggestive things are great.
It's just great. I love it.
It's because, like, I mean, I have a Patreon. Even Loopie made a joke about it, like, where I post like stuff that I enjoy of myself and content that I purchase and commission. I post it there because I want to share it with folks, but I also want to be mindful of the contents and the audience I have, because I do keep a PG-13 audience, so I try to be mindful of that. But it's weird because you get that guilty by association. I literally had people like message me, and this, mind you, has been a long time, but I had people message me, go, "Oh my God, did you know Flair is so lewd and lascivious? Why are you, you know, don't be careful of this person." I'm like, the fluff? What? No.
Bro,
Do you
unless
have
I
any idea
start
this is
selling
my
organs,
friend?
you
This
don't
is
have
somebody
to
I
fucking
love?
worry about me, bro. Like,
I don't. I've seriously had people warn me about you, and I'm just like, you can just go away now. You don't know what you're talking about.
to
Get
me,
out of
yeah,
here.
to me that
Because
just
they just
means
assumed.
that
I'm like, they didn't even watch your
Exactly.
streams. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know
Oh my
you.
God,
They don't watch your content. They just saw some naughty picture or heard some stupid rumor.
Oh, no.
And now you're pegged as ultra lewd, and I'm pegged as ultra wholesome. When I like when somebody says, "Oh,
We're
Heartwood,
on the
there's
same
something
side,
behind you,"
baby.
and I'm like, "Hey yo, I'm not afraid to be cheeky and suggestive, and even do a little bit of fun pandering, because to me that's cute. It's adorable. It's fun.
It's
It
also
makes
part of,
the
like,
stream
being
go a little
human,
bit better."
man. Like, I hate
is
this
part of being
demonization
human.
of it. Like, it's the worst fucking thing. Like, if you want to criticize me for being lewd, start criticizing every fucking child that runs around with like giant like cocked fucking avatars, or like literally like illegally imagery of avatars out there, or like Nazi avatars out there. Like, the every single public world is plagued with trolls, crashers, like people that literally like steal IPs, so like pirates and thieves. And fucking VRChat had the audacity to ban me after fucking after defending them during AAC, because everyone technically knew that you weren't allowed to have a modified client. I got smacked on the ass by VRChat so hard that all my fucking avatars disappeared. And to this day, they still haven't given me a consistent reason as to why. Every single one of them have given me a different reason, so it didn't line up. And according to them, I have alt accounts, which I don't. So that's why I felt like really demonized for being like lewd and stuff. And now I see some of our friends even, like some of our friends earned, what was it, like a lot of money in an hour for quite literally hoeing themselves out, which I don't hate them for it, but it does come to show that I don't make money off of anything that I do that's adult related. There are people that do. There's people that have Patreon specifically for that, and honestly, more power to them, because I don't personally care, except if they're gonna demonize me for being interested in that. Like me merely being interested in that, having some art, is enough for people to just brush me off as a complete degenerate that no one needs to listen to. While there's literally people out there that are 50 to 100 times worse, literally siphoning people off of their money for lewd content. Not specifically probably the people that we know, but that found worse examples than that. And yeah, obviously we're not going to talk about that, but like it's crazy to me to see how someone can try to picture someone and think that they can completely know them just based off of a couple of things that they either have heard of, seen, instead of actually having a conversation with people, which is why communication is so important.
Absolutely. Giving people the opportunity to or getting to know somebody, whether it's through their content or through them personally, I think is way more valuable. It's very easy to go, I heard this rumor about you, therefore that is you, and that's how I'm going to think of you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. When in reality is, that may be a very skewed side of the story, that may not be true. Like, again, you have a lot of sex appeal, but you're a really, really good person. Your content's wonderful, and that's what endeared me to you, because I'm not super lewd. I'm not.
It's also
super
not my
sexy.
main focus.
Like, I have my. It's not your main focus, exactly.
I just made my avatar
but
look
people
sexy,
are gonna peg
why
it.
the fuck not, you know? Hey, yo.
Right? Yeah. I'm a Hopkins with a big butt and hips, and there's sex appeal in my avatar too, you know.
Definitely.
So, I totally get it. But it's really important to not just take a rumor at face value. It's important not to just read a book by its cover or judge a book by its cover. You know, get to know the person a little bit better before you start like believing crazy rumors or stressing out about stuff. And you know, and not everything's the way it appears. I stole it. It looked good.
You're fine. I feel like we did a great
my
job
coffee
today.
now.
We talked about pretty much everything.
Thank you so much, Flair.
Yeah,
we really did.
I'm happy
Thank you
with
so much for joining us for Slice of Heaven, Flair.
Is there
I really appreciate
anything
your
you'd
time
like
and
to
love.
promote, Blair?
You know, it's funny because over the course of me
Or
streaming
words
for
of
like
inspiration?
3 years, I have never, ever directly promoted anything other than other people. I've said I do stream when it was topical.
okay.
I have never tried to get a shout out unironically, because I did it once, like, you know, oh, make sure to go follow my Twitter, you know, like that. But I never promote like merch. I never like I've never even taken a like a cooperation with a sponsorship, right? Like I never taken a sponsorship. It's always just been purely the kindness of people. Other than if you want to keep up to date with what I do, you can join Discord. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Be kind.
And be
Try to
kind.
aspire to be a shooting star.
Exactly. Honestly, thank you for letting me join. It was very comfy. Really liked it.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Blair. It was a great conversation.
It was such a pleasure, Flair.
Also, my tomatoes are done.
we
I'm
wanna-
looking forward to that.
Oh my God! I want. That
I should
sounds
make
so
you
damn
someone
good.
to get
Now I
over
wanna
here.
Make something. Oh, I'm so gonna come visit you one day. And we're gonna have tomatoes. It's gonna be great.
Let's go.
Okay.
Any closing
Amongst other
words?
things.
Yeah, thank you for coming and being here. Thank you to our Patreon and Ko-fi supporters. Much appreciation to you. Heartwood is now going to throw their cup of coffee at the camera as we remind you Oh, hello, Pixie. As we remind you to like, subscribe, smash that bell, throw that cup of coffee, or just tilt it. Sure. There
It
we go,
floats
great.
in air. Sag.
And
we'll see you next week for the next episode.
Bye
Thanks,
Bye,
bye.
everyone. Have a
everyone.
wonderful week.
Bye.
We'll see you next week.
Later.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.
Mwah, 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 mwah.
Anyway, here's my fat fucking ass.